Hello, Donna here. In this video, we're going to make a trifold journaling card, and we're just going to use tea-dyed paper or any sort of paper that you've got. And what I'm going to show you how to do is how I divide it evenly into thirds. I'll do my demo on this plain piece of paper first, and then I'll show you how I decorate the corners, and we'll put a nice design on the front here so that you can pop it into your journal. Now this is an A4 piece of paper, so I'm just going to make sure it's really square into the corner, and I'm going to score down my first line at 3.5 inches. I'm going to turn that around, and I'm going to make sure that that line there and that line there is square, and I'm just going to crease my score line. Right, then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to put this fold line here up into the corner and make sure it's nice and square. Going to lift that up, and I'm going to score that again at 3.5. I'm only lightly scoring because this is paper and this is a blunt edge, so don't use anything sharp, you'll possibly rip your paper. So just open that up and come back this way and fold that back down, making sure it's square there and there, top and bottom, and crease that. So I'm done with my scoreboard, and turn that over. That piece is a little bit too long. I'm going to pop my ruler under here. This saves me measuring, and I'm just going to make the top of my ruler here and the bottom of my ruler here perfectly level with that fold line. Then I'm just going to lift that up. I never move my ruler, not one little bit, and I use a craft knife. This is a retractable craft knife, and I'll just cut that excess bit of paper off. And then I've got my trifold. Now if you're going to be putting this in a journal, the reason that I've used this at 3.5 inches because and not use my full width of paper is for balance. I've made it 3.5 inches wide, and I'm actually going to shorten it to 7.5, because if I leave it this long and then I go to put this in my journal, chances are I've made my journal using pages that were made from an A4 piece of paper. So my trifold might be longer than my pages. Let me find a blank here. So say I wanted to pop that in here, it's just a little bit long. So for me, I shorten it, and that looks much better being a little bit shorter. So I'm going to shorten this demo piece to make sure it's perfectly square, and then I cut that off at 7.5 inches. So now I know that this is going to come back in and it's going to fit in here at 7.5 inches. If it's still too long, I've still got, plenty of paper there to cut off. Square that off, and Bob's your uncle. So that would probably be, for me, a better balance. If you've got a corner punch, you can decorate your corners. So I punch through the whole 3 layers together, and it looks like this. So each page has a pretty decorative corner. This is We Are Memory Keepers, and it's the deco on one end and the stub on the other. So that's the stub and that's the deco. Okay, so now I've made up the demo. I'll do it on the real one. I'll get it up to this stage, and then I'll show you how to decorate it. We're going to decorate it using a little fairy and some flowers. Now I've done 2 corner styles just so you can see how different they are if you do something very plain or you ramp it up a little bit and if you've got a corner punch that does something a little more decorative. It changes everything a lot. And you know, like you can see here, so there are 3 different corner styles. So I'm going to use this one to put a stamp on the front, and when I put the stamp on the front, that's going to be the background for my fairy embellishment. So I've got this one here. It's got a lovely big dragonfly on it, and I don't mind if I don't stamp perfectly because it's going to be a background. If I'm going to be using just copy paper for this journaling card, be aware of that your stamping will come through the other side, but that doesn't bother me at all. It still looks fine for me. And I don't want to use anything too bulky in my journals, so I love using paper. So that first one was my practice. Well, I hope this one turns out okay, because this is the one I want to decorate with the fairy. So that's what I meant by if my stamp didn't turn out, it wasn't going to bother me too much, because I like the idea that that's just a light stamp there, because I want the fairy and the flowers to be the hero. I want that to be the focal point. I've fussy cut my little fairy out. Just go through a magazine or go through some wrapping paper and just fussy cut your fairy out, whatever style fairy you want. I'm just making my own wings. You can use butterfly wings, you can use any wings that you've got that you can fussy cut, or you can use these skeleton wings here like I've got. So there's all different colours in these skeleton wings, but they're what I'm using for this one. I'm just going to use the festive berries, but there's lots of pink in this range, and I'm going to load up my brush and I'm going to take off some of that colour. See how if I were to put that on there, it would be just way too bold. Now I've taken that off. See how now I'm getting a lot softer here. I want it softer again. So now I know I can come in here, and besides that, the fairy's going to come over the top of that part there. So I can come out and I'm pressing really light and I'm just letting it blend out to pretty well nothing. And I'll bring fairy across and test to see if she's sitting in the right place. And I think that's pretty good. Now I am going to do the stamping in the corner. So let's get that done. I'm going to use the Belly Art glue because I love it. It dries clear. You only need a tiny little bit of it. If you put something on your work and the glue squashes out, you've used way too much. So back off the glue a little bit if that happens to you. So I'm just going to start gluing down from the center, and you don't have to be straight. I'll put that there and see how that's grabbed pretty quickly. So it's good for fabric as well as paper, this stuff. Now I'm not going to glue it down all the way because I don't know whether any of the leaves are going to go under or over her. So I'm just going to put some of this glue. That gives me the chance to place her without making her fully glued down. So I'm going to put her about, I don't want her too high because I need to make sure her wings go down underneath here as well. And I don't want her wings coming out past this paper because these skeleton wings are really fragile and they'll come off. So they've got to go there. So I'm pretty satisfied that they can go there. I'm going to lift it up because I haven't put a lot of glue there. And I'm going to make sure those wings there stay put. Now I'm feeling a bit better about her head area. I can commit. All right, now I'm just going to quickly go through and glue all that down. There we go. She's looking pretty cute. Now let's pop this in a page and see how the ribbon just hangs down the bottom. You'll always know where your little fairy is then. I think the ribbon is gonna stay. All right, so it's up to you whether you continue on and add some lines, or you can just leave it as a blank journaling card like that. Now enjoy making your trifold journaling card, and I think my method of folding it into thirds is nice and easy. And this beautiful little fairy sitting on the front, it just gives you that lovely, pleasant surprise when you turn your page over and there she is. By the way, if you're wondering about my little journal here, this is a journal that I've made with my members in my members only group. So if you're interested in joining my monthly membership, this is an ideas journal. When we have an idea, we add it to the ideas journal, and we can always refer back to this journal when we're done. So if you're interested in my membership group, just have a look at the link below this video. I'm Donna. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.